Do you guys remember when Lizzo was getting sued last year by 3 former dancers of hers? Well, she's speaking out about this right now with Keke Palmer. She's saying that everything that had come out was a complete lie, and she wanted everyone to hear her side of this situation, and she thought that it was going to be best if she did it on Kiki's podcast. So we're gonna spill on all that Lizzo has had to say and how she's feeling about all of this. To recap, this all started last year in August when 3 of Lizzo's former dancers, Ariana Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noel Rodriguez, filed a lawsuit against her production company, and her dance captain, Shirlene Quigley. And let me just say, this lawsuit wasn't minor. The allegations were explosive: harassment, religious harassment, weight shaming, disability discrimination. This wasn't just a bad workplace story. It felt like a complete opposite of everything that Lizzo stands for. Social media went wild. I mean, people were literally questioning everything they thought they knew about Lizzo, and it wasn't just the allegations themselves, but also the specifics that really caught people off guard. One story from the lawsuit claimed Lizzo forced her dancers to engage with a nude performer during a night out at an Amsterdam club. The dancers alleged that she pressured them to touch performers and participate in acts that were deeply uncomfortable with them. There's also more. One dancer said that they had to endure a grueling 12-hour rehearsal where they weren't even allowed a bathroom break, and claimed that she peed herself out of fear of losing her job. The lawsuit also called out Shirlene Quigley for religious harassment, accusing her of pushing her Christian beliefs on dancers and shaming them if they didn't align with her values. Naturally, Twitter and TikTok went into full-on chaos mode. People were torn. On one hand, Lizzo had built her brand on self-love, inclusivity, positivity, but on the other hand, these allegations painted a picture of a completely different person than everybody thought that they knew. So they were just like, what the heck is going on? Who is Lizzo? And what the heck is going on her tours? Fans felt betrayed. And when Lizzo finally broke her silence, she did so in a Notes app statement. She denied everything, calling the accusations outrageous, false, and sensationalized. She also mentioned how deeply hurt she was by the accusations, especially since they were coming from people she thought of as family. At the same time, Lizzo was getting lawyered up, and not just with any lawyer. She brought in Marty Singer, who represents some of the most controversial figures in Hollywood. As if the lawsuit itself wasn't enough, more former employees started coming forward with their own allegations. One filmmaker who worked on a documentary for Lizzo's tour said that she left the project after just 2 weeks because of the disrespect she experienced. For a while, Lizzo basically disappeared from the internet. There were a few posts here and there, but for the most part, she was silent, and fans speculated that the backlash was getting to her, especially after she posted about feeling like quitting, though she didn't specify what exactly she was quitting, whether it was music or just being famous, but she had expressed that she wanted to quit. And months have gone by since she last really spoke about anything, and finally, Lizzo has decided to face the public on camera and talk about things. She went on Keke Palmer's podcast to address the situation. She was asked about the lawsuit, the specifics of the lawsuit, and you guys, Keke was not holding back. She has been getting such praise because of this interview, because she straight up asked Lizzo why she wanted to come out, why she wanted to speak on everything now, and she was asking some good follow-up questions, okay? Like, she really did so good. And Lizzo, when talking about why now, why Keke, she said that she knew Keke was not going to take it easy on her, and she only wants to have to address the situation one time, but explained that last year was an amazing year for her career-wise until she was sued, and she called what happened a total blindside.
The tour ended, and 3 ex-dancers just completely blindsided me with a lawsuit.
So let's talk about that so I can get the exact facts right before we get into it. It's 2023. They come with the lawsuit, and there's a bunch of different claims about harassment, assault. Were you surprised? Did you know about it beforehand, that it was coming before we saw it hit the net? Or was it a complete blindside situation?
I was completely surprised.
Really?
I was very deeply hurt because, these were 3 ex-dancers, so they weren't on the tour. They didn't finish the tour out with us. But even regardless of that, these were people that I gave opportunities to. These were people that I liked them and appreciated them as dancers, respected them as dancers. So I was like, what?
She goes on to give an update on the lawsuit, though, mentioning that there have been some victories for her.
And you can ask me anything about it because I got dismissed from the case.
Yeah, that's a
Great.
big weight off your shoulders, I'm sure.
Yes, and we're continuing to fight the other claims until they're all dismissed. And not dropped, dismissed, which means a judge saw this, and in the court of law, he looked at the evidence and said, okay, we can't allow this to go through because the evidence was evidencing against the claims.
Yeah.
So it is a big victory.
Now, Kiki wanted to dig into the situation here, though, and was asking Lizzo what the heck happened that had these dancers suing her. And when it came to the whole nude performers night, Lizzo wanted to explain her side.
There's a place called Crazy Horse in Paris, France. You heard of it?
I haven't heard of it,
Okay.
but I be going to strip club.
But this isn't a strip club. Crazy Horse is like it's a dance review, but it's in Europe. So it's a topless dance review. But think about it's like the Rockettes or something, and it's burlesque.
Sure.
And so I've gone for years, and I always invite the performers to like, hey, oh my gosh, you should come through and watch this show, like, and get inspired. And every time I've gone, I've had my performers come and they watch the show, and everything's always been fine. This time, I gave like an invitation. It wasn't mandatory. It was just, hey, I'm going to Crazy Horse. Everyone's invited. If you want to come, you can come. I was like, who wants to meet the Crazy Horse dancers? And they were all like, me. You know, they all raised a hand. So we all went downstairs. We met the dancers. We laughed. We talked. There's photos and videos of the 3 girls who are the ex-dancers who are suing me in a video with them, smiling, having a great time. And we all went back to our hotels.
Kiki then made a really good point, saying that maybe they felt like they kind of had to go because she's their boss.
Do you feel that sometimes you were not able to see the way that they perceived you based on you being their boss? Meaning, maybe did they feel like they had to go, or this is my boss, so I gotta be chill. I don't see her as my friend or my homegirl. I feel like I gotta do this, or I feel like I gotta be down with it because I wanna keep my job. Do you think that could have ever played a part into them now feeling like what they're feeling or saying now what they've been saying?
Well, I can't speak for how they felt because I don't know. But I definitely, the first half of your question, was I unable to see that? Yes.
Lizzo ends up saying that this experience has taught her to start setting those boundaries with her employees because she was viewing everyone as someone that she was friends with.
I hear about artists who don't even talk to their dancers, who don't mingle with them at all. And I used to be like, why it's like that? Like, it don't gotta be like that. We can all be family and hang out and have a good time. But now I see why. And I think this experience taught me how to set those kinds of boundaries, not just to protect them, but to protect myself.
She was then confronted with the body shaming claims, and Kiki was getting real specific here. Like, when I tell you guys, she was not holding back. She was not holding back. She wanted the real answers, none of that image-saving fluff.
When they were saying that you weight shamed them, what was this about? I mean, one specifically said, you told her she seemed less committed to her role after she gained weight. I mean, did you say that? Was that a joke? Was it like, why? What was up with that?
So
not with you, but with her.
Those words never came out of my mouth. I never said that. Some of these claims, there are so many like inconsistencies and things that just never happened. On the contrary, that particular person, I hired them after their weight gain. You know what I mean? It was the opposite. You didn't get fired after that. You got hired. Yeah. And the world has seen me champion for bigger bodies, champion for smaller bodies too. Like, I'm not just like, I don't skinny shame people. You know what I mean? Like, right. I've taken the mission and I've included everybody in it. From television shows to my music, to my personal life, to fans. Everyone has seen me do this and champion people and platform people. And I think it was funny for the internet. But the irony is right there, right in front of you.
She also went on to address the allegations that someone couldn't use the bathroom during rehearsal, and Kiki then tried asking her about her team and if there were things happening that maybe she just genuinely didn't know about, since it isn't just her that was named in the suit.
There's a claim that somebody couldn't use the bathroom during rehearsal, but in that same rehearsal, there was another dancer who was in the bathroom during a whole run.
And that's why I asked what I asked you about your team, because there's also this thing where they're coming at the captain, they're coming at the production, and sometimes if you're off and you're doing this and that, maybe you don't know back what they're doing at home base. Did you take a look with yourself and say, when all this went down, what's my production company doing? What's my captain doing? Was there a moment in time that you feel you could have maybe checked the people that were working with you, handling the dancers, where maybe they, effed up on something? Was that ever a thought, that passed your mind?
If somebody had came to me with an issue with somebody on my team, if that existed, then it would be handled and dealt with. That's it. But
And so it never was said.
everybody had a great time.
But then they didn't.
Lizzo ends up getting emotional discussing feeling betrayed by the girls and the public, the fact that people would believe these things about her when she is saying with her full chest that they are just made up lies and not true.
Yeah.
In this situation, y'all know that I would take accountability, but I didn't do anything wrong, so I'm fighting.
Yeah.
I've been fighting behind the scenes too. My lawyer's been doing the talking.
That's right.
Because I also don't want to perpetuate the negative talk that's surrounding real victims in the world. I still believe women. I still believe victims. Because this happened to me, it's not going to change that. But people should not be able to just say anything about somebody and put it in the media and ask for money. I said I wasn't gonna cry because I'm not a victim. We can't just be strong all the time.
And it's okay when you get your feelings hurt.
God, like that period of my life was very dark because of the feeling of betrayal. Not because I was like, oh my God, like I did something wrong. It was like, no, like the wind was knocked out of me by people that I cared about. And even if it wasn't like you was my best friend in the whole wide world, I hired you. You know, I believed in you. And to feel betrayed on that level was like deeply earth-shattering. And then the betrayal from the public, where they were just like, well, we believe it. You know, we've known you for 5 years and we've seen, you know, how you stand up for, you know, marginalized people and bigger bodies and Black women. But you know what? We don't believe you anymore.
In the end, Lizzo made it clear that this lawsuit has been very challenging and heartbreaking for her. But despite the emotional toll, she expressed determination to grow from this, set clear boundaries with her team, and continue to advocate for the values that she has always championed. And whether you believe Lizzo's side or you have doubts still, one thing's for sure, and this conversation made Keke Palmer look really good. And I hope that she does more interviews like this because she really knows how to grill people. I know that she interviews people, but I mean like in a serious scenario like this, I felt like she really handled herself so well. But the real question now is whether the public is going to forgive and move forward with Lizzo, or if this lawsuit will continue to define her. But I want to know what you guys think about Lizzo's response, the podcast interview, and where you think she goes from here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.